Today we're going to be looking at making a combination lock using item frames and something in the item frame. So this is actually adapted from SethBling's original tutorial, so go and check that one out. I will put the link in the description. There's just a couple things I'm going to be adding to it at the end to help kind of compact the redstone a little bit. So just for theory behind what's happening here, so we have our item in the item frame, and I'll usually, if I'm doing this in a challenge room, put something around the room somewhere just to indicate that the item pointing straight up is position number 1. It's not necessary, but it does help when they have the combination figuring out what that actually looks like. So behind, this isn't actually part of it, it's just to illustrate. You can see that there's a comparator that is reading the position of the item in the item frame, and right now in position 1 that power source is providing a power of 1. It's going 1 block, but if we change it, we can see that the distance that the power signal's going starts to change. The first number in the combination we've chosen is 5, so it's at position 1. We're going to change it to 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's in position 5 now. So what we're going to do is, you can see I've got the same setup. I've got just a block down there so the comparator has something to sit on. The comparator is going to point toward these blocks that we're putting in here. And then we're going to go, it's already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then go ahead and add your redstone dust to that. This is the last block that gets power, and so we're going to put a red block in. So this block shouldn't be getting any power, and then if we put our redstone dust down, yeah, that redstone is not getting a signal. So that should be our power source from this one. So then what we're going to do is we're going to put a redstone torch there. So if this was not getting power, that redstone torch would be on, but because this block is getting power, it's off, and then we can test this one. Yep, this one's getting no power, so that torch is on. So that's what we need to do there. And then we are going to put a repeater coming out of this one. So this repeater is going to tell us if the power is too much. So if we adjust it up 1, we can see that repeater goes on. So now that I've reset the torch, I'm going to put a block there, and we're going to take our redstone dust, and we're going to go 1 forward. We're going to come down off the side, and we're going to go back over to here. And we're going to come back to that. So then we're going to do our second one. So this one is in position 2 for this lock. So we've got 1, 2, and then we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to add our green blocks. So 2 should be the power signal. And then if we put another block in and test, there we go. And just testing that that's not powered. It's not, we're good. We're going to put our torch there. We're going to put our 2 blocks down here. We're going to put our repeater in. And then we're going to do our redstone dust leading back to the torch. Now, if yours doesn't connect up all nicely with the system like ours has done right here, you will have to find another way to link it up, but you'll see what that looks like in the next part. This one's at 4, so we're going to go adjust that one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And our block goes down there so that we can build it up. 2, 3, 4. And that should be the end of the signal. Going to put the last block on and test it. Okay, and then redstone torch. Yep, no power. Power. Great. And then same thing. We're going to put our 2 blocks down. Put our repeater down. Connect up the redstone. And then we're going to connect it up to the system here. So now we can see that if the combination is correct, this redstone is powered off, but if any of them are incorrect, the redstone should be powered on. So let's put that back at 4 where it's supposed to be. That's off. And then we're going to test here. Yep, it's working correctly. Oops. And that's working as well. So again, if it's too much, that repeater is tripping the system, and if it's too little, the redstone torch is tripping the system. See, the torch is stripping the system there. So that's how this works. So now all we have to do is figure out how to put in a door that will stay closed until the combination is correct. So I'll show you the traditional way and then a more compact way using command blocks. Normally what we want to do is have a wall here so that we can hide the redstone, which means our doorway would be here. And so we'll put the door there. And again, what we want to do for this one is use a metal door, because if it's a wooden door, you can just open it. So we're going to do an iron door. And if we put the door down, it's going to be locked. All right, so now we have our basic system, and if the combination is correct, there shouldn't be any power. So now let's figure out how to get this door to open and close. So what we're going to be doing is we'll have to have a wall there to hide the redstone, and we are going to figure out how to get this door to open. Now, the traditional way, just using redstone, means we have a little bit of digging to do. So actually I'm going to put that back there, because what we want to do is put a repeater down, and it's really important to make sure that the repeater is after wherever this torch is, because this torch needs to be able to feed the system. So don't put it anywhere on this side of where that torch is, no matter what your combination is. And then, if you have enough space, you can start to run your redstone down. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So I'm going to carve out a spot on this side of the wall. And we've got space under this block that we want to power. Now, if we were powering this, that would make the door open. But then we can't really control this torch very well. So what we want to do is put the torch on the side of this block. So it's still going to power that door. And then if we come down here, and so that should be our torch block right there. I'm just going to check and make sure that it is. Yep. So we need to get the redstone signal to run into here. And if we just bring it down, it's not going to go into that block. So we actually have to carve ourselves out a little bit of a hole there. And we're going to use our repeater to go into that block. And then we're just going to bring the redstone dust around. 1, 2. And then that should work. So now we have our correct combination and the door is open. But if the combination is incorrect, the door is closed. All right, so that is part 1 of the combination lock. Now, depending on your lock and where the door is, this is really convenient because the door is right next to the combination lock, but what if you want to put it around the room? Well, we can do that too. Instead of the door being powered, what we're going to do is have our system power a command block system. So I'm just going to dig myself out a little bit more space so that I can hide this under the mechanism for the combination lock. And what we are going to do is we're going to give ourselves a couple of command blocks. And I'm going to put the second one there, and I am going to just grab a redstone torch, and I'm going to put it, hold down shift so I can put it there. So if we go and redo the system, okay, so that torch has been placed. So what we want to make sure of is that when the combination is correct, the system is not powered, there will be a redstone torch here. And then when the system is powered, it means the combination is incorrect, there will be air here. So this is the block that's being powered now. And what we are going to do is we are going to make it so that when this block here gets power, there will be a redstone torch placed here. So what we're going to do is figure out where this is in relation to the block. So that's, if we look at our coordinates, 1, 2, 3 along the negative direction of the z-axis, and that's going to be 1 block above on the y-axis. So we go set block, x is the same, y is 1 above, and then z is -3. So that tilde means in relation to where this block is, and that's going to be redstone torch. So what we want this one to do is when the system does have power, we want this redstone torch to be replaced with air. So this one is only 2 blocks back on the negative z-axis. So this one's going to be set block, tilde, tilde, because it's the same level on the y-axis this time, tilde -2, air. So now I'm going to add my hover notes because that's good practice. So this is replace air. And this block is replace torch. So now I know what they do. And now if we go and test our system, incorrect combination locks the door. Correct combination opens the door. So when the combination is incorrect, this block is getting power, so this torch shuts off and we're replacing with air. And then when the system has no power, this torch goes on and powers the replace with torch block. So that is the compact method for this combination lock. And this is really useful because this is going to let you move this door around the room. You just have to change the relative positioning in the command blocks or replace it with coordinates. And if you are copying and pasting this to a different world, you just have to remember to adjust those coordinates so that they work in that world, especially if you're rotating things. And then all we have to do is fill in our wall and fill in the floor. And then you have this nice functional combination lock.